Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a hidden skill, one that quietly steers almost everything in our lives, from how successful we are to how we connect with people. We're diving into the big ideas from Daniel Goleman's fantastic book, Focus.
So let's just start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves recently. Why in the world is it so hard to just pay attention? It feels like a constant battle, right?
Well, the simplest answer is that our attention is basically under attack all day long. From the moment you wake up, you're swimming in this massive ocean of notifications, emails, and social media feeds, and every single one is trying to grab a piece of your mind.
And Daniel Goleman doesn't mince words. He calls this what it is, a modern crisis. He points to something he calls the endangered human moment, which is where our real, genuine, face-to-face connections are constantly being cut short by our devices. And you see this everywhere, don't you? It's like we've all slipped into this state of continuous partial attention. We're there physically, but our minds are scattered, pulled in 100 different directions. We're never really fully anywhere.
So when our focus splinters like this, what are we really losing? Because attention, it turns out, is so much more than just a fleeting thought. Goleman argues that it's actually a fundamental, almost hidden superpower. To see this superpower in action, Goleman tells us about a guy named John Berger, a house detective in a busy store. And his entire job is basically a masterclass in professional noticing. You have this sea of shoppers, and his focus has to be an absolute laser beam.
So what John is using is a core mental skill, and it's called selective attention. It's this incredible ability to lock onto one specific target, like a shopper whose body language just feels a little off, while totally tuning out the 50 other people and all the other noise on the store floor. And to really wrap our heads around this, Goleman gives us this brilliant metaphor. Think of your attention as a kind of mental spotlight. Right. So just like a real spotlight in a totally dark room, whatever you point this beam of awareness at is what becomes real for you. It's what you experience. Everything else just stays in the dark, completely unnoticed. And this mental spotlight, it controls so much more than just what you see. It literally dictates what you learn, what you end up remembering, how you process your own feelings, and even how deeply you connect with the people standing right in front of you. Now, what's really fascinating is that our brain has these two different systems basically fighting to control that spotlight. First, you've got the bottom-up mind. It's reflexive, it's fast, it's automatic. It's what makes you instantly look when you hear a loud bang. Then you've got the top-down mind. This one is slower, it's deliberate, and it takes real effort. This is the part of your brain that decides to ignore that bang and keep reading. It's the home of your self-control.
And here's the problem. Our modern world is practically built to trigger that fast, reflexive, bottom-up mind. Every single ping, every notification, every breaking news alert is like digital bait, yanking our spotlight away from what we've chosen to focus on and toward whatever's shouting the loudest.
So what's the big deal, right? Well, this isn't just some small annoyance. Goleman argues that there is a huge, profound cost to living in this constant state of distraction.
And the economist Herbert Simon saw this coming. He predicted this exact paradox perfectly way back in 1977. He warned that a wealth of information would create a poverty of attention. And let's be honest, we are living in that world right now.
And look, this isn't just a theory. The data absolutely proves him right. By the early 2010s, the average American teen was sending or receiving over 3,400 text messages a month. That had doubled in just a couple of years. That's just an insane number of demands on their attention.
So the real cost of our attention being shattered like this is that we start to lose really critical skills. Our ability to do deep reading, to really sink into a complex idea, starts to fade. Our skill in just having a face-to-face conversation and reading all those little nonverbal cues, it gets weaker. And maybe most importantly, we lose the mental space for the work that actually matters to us.
But, and this is the most important part, here's where it gets really powerful. This is not a permanent condition. You can actually fight back. You can reclaim this subtle superpower. Goleman's central, most hopeful idea is this. Your attention works just like a muscle. It is not some fixed trait that you are just born with. And just like any other muscle, you've got a choice. You can let it get weaker by giving in to every single distraction, or you can strengthen it. You strengthen it through what's called deliberate practice, by intentionally giving your full, undivided attention to one thing. Like reading one chapter without even glancing at your phone. When you do that, you're literally rewiring your brain for deeper focus.
So the ultimate takeaway here is that those little choices you make every day about where you point that mental spotlight, they aren't small at all. They are the very tool you use to build your reality. By training your attention, you truly have the power to transform your life.